You can tell it's a turkey by the way it is. Hey, it's Jack from Camp Chef, back here on the Camp Chef back patio, and today we're talking turkeys. So it doesn't matter if this is your first time and you're super nervous about it, you got people coming over, or you've been cooking turkeys for a long time and just not getting the results that you're looking for, this is gonna be the video for you. All right, so let's talk about the buy-in process. Fresh is always best. If you can find fresh turkey, it's a great way. It always gives you great results. But most of the time, if you're like me, you're gonna have to end up getting a frozen one. When I buy a frozen one, I'm looking for between 15 and 20 pounds. I don't wanna go any higher than 20 pounds, mostly because it's not gonna be quite as tender. Honestly, it's gonna be better for you if you buy 2 turkeys rather than getting one large one. It's just a lot easier to manage and you're gonna get better results. And I always plan on about 1 pound of turkey per person. All right, so now we gotta talk about the thawing out process. You're gonna wanna start thawing that in your refrigerator about 5 days in advance. Just put it in a pan, slide it in there, and let it do its thing. The other thing is you can do that in a cooler. It's just gonna be a little harder to manage the temperature in your cooler. Just make sure it doesn't get above 41 degrees. The other way, this is kind of the quick thaw method. You do this by submerging it in water. So I'll either take a big pan or I'll take my sink and place it in there, completely cover it with water. I leave it in the bag. Make sure that water stays below that 41 degrees as well. And it's gonna take about 10 to 12 hours to thaw it that way. All right, so we're gonna start prepping this turkey. First thing I'm gonna do is get rid of this. This is those internal thermometers that popped up. I remember as a kid watching that, oh no, I'm waiting for that to pop up, turkey's done. But the problem is that's not gonna pop till it's 185 degrees. Guys, that's gonna make a dry turkey. And we're just gonna start trimming it up. So we've got the tail back here on the back. I'm just gonna take a pair, cut that off, reach inside. We're gonna pull out the neck, and you're gonna have the packet with the gizzard and the heart. Just go ahead and pull that out. It's usually stuffed right up in here. Okay, once we get all that trimmed up, we've got another decision to make. I know if you've been doing any kind of research online, you've heard of the spatchcock, and what is that, and what kind of method is that? So basically all that means is you're gonna cut this backbone out. So I'm just gonna take my kitchen shears, and I'm just gonna the side of the backbone on both sides and pull that out. And what we're gonna do is flip that over. You're gonna need to break that breastbone. So I'll just go ahead and just boom, right like that. It's gonna lay that turkey out flat, and it's gonna give us way more even cooking, and it's gonna cook a lot quicker for you. We're actually gonna leave this one whole because I wanna just show you the easiest method that you possibly can do. All right, so now we have another decision we need to make, and that is brining. Do we wanna brine this? And there's actually a couple different kinds of methods out there. There's the wet brine and the dry brine. And what does a brining do? Brining is just more or less gonna add more flavors to that meat. So let's talk about wet brining first. And what are we gonna do with that? So we're actually adding some liquid, water. We might be putting some apple juice. We might be putting some wine, adding maybe a little bit of acidity with some lemon, herbs and spices into that. And we're gonna make this water mix, and we're gonna completely submerge that turkey in that. And on the dry brine, it's just salt. What does salt do? Is I'm just go ahead and salt that like I normally would. That salt's gonna sit on there. It's gonna actually draw a little bit of moisture out of that turkey, but it's gonna actually suck that back in through osmosis. So it's basically brining itself with salt and its own juices. You're gonna want that lead to sit in the refrigerator uncovered. Usually I put it on a cookie sheet with a cooling rack over the top of that so the airflow can get all the way around it. And it's just gonna dry that skin up nice. That salt flavor is gonna penetrate into the meat, and it's just gonna give you a fantastic turkey flavor. So trussing is basically, see how this turkey is just laying out flat? It's kind of like hanging out there. Well, trussing is you take rope and you're gonna tie everything together. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some string. So I'm just gonna take that, wrap it around. I'm just gonna tuck those legs up a little bit more. So I'm just gonna take the wing and just tip it right underneath that breast. So I'll take the wing and just kind of force it right underneath, and that'll hold those wings for you. And it's not gonna suck them up against the breast. That way we can cook those breasts really evenly. All right, now we gotta start thinking about flavoring this turkey, okay? We didn't dry brine this one, or we haven't wet dried brine this one. We're just gonna season this one. Just because, maybe you didn't have time to dry brine it or whatnot. If you're not getting the results that you're looking for, just go back to salt and pepper. Salt and pepper makes a fantastic turkey. Today we're just gonna do some butter, some sage, and some lemon. We're just gonna kind of mince this up a little bit. If you want to bring out a little bit more of that oil and that flavor, just go ahead and take your knife and just bruise that sage a little bit. That's gonna help those oils come out. We're just gonna take that, we're gonna just put it right over the top of our butter. This was a whole cube of butter. We're gonna add a little bit of lemon zest to this. Now we want to flavor this as well, so we're gonna add some salt. And remember, we're doing a really big turkey here, so it can take quite a bit of salt. Let's add some fresh cracked pepper. We're just gonna kind of mix all that in. The really cool thing about turkey is, and chicken for that matter, is you got the skin that you can work with. And what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna put this underneath the skin. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of reach my fingers, my hand back in there and just kind of gently pull back that skin. Open that up. That way I can get some flavoring underneath there. So what we're gonna do is just take some of these chunks of butter. We're just gonna start sliding it underneath that skin. Highly recommend just starting out super simple and working your way up. But I can't stress it enough. Don't overcomplicate your seasonings. Next step. Now we got to put the salt and pepper on. So we're gonna salt and pepper the outside of this. I'm just gonna start salting. Just make sure on the salting, I wouldn't use just a normal iodized table salt. Use a good sea salt or a good kosher salt. All right, let's get some pepper on there. Good fresh cracked pepper. All right guys, this turkey's looking awesome. It is ready to start cooking. We're gonna cook this one straight up at 350 degrees. We're gonna use the Camp Chef Woodwind. You're more than welcome to smoke it. I wouldn't recommend going any more than maybe an hour at the beginning. So smoke it at 225 and then turn it up to 350. But for me personally, I just run it at 350 the whole entire time. This is gonna work great in your oven as well. Okay, so I'm getting ready to throw this into the pellet grill. There's a couple options we have. Now, if I'm gonna do a spatchcock, I'm gonna go ahead and open my grill and we're gonna lay that across that top shelf. It's gonna get a really good airflow all the way across it. It's also gonna allow me to put a full hotel pan underneath it. So all those parts and pieces that I took off, I'm gonna lay down in the bottom. I'm gonna put about 2 quarts to 4 quarts of chicken stock in that, onions, carrots, celery, some herbs, and that's just gonna make an awesome liquid for gravy or whatnot like that. It's gonna catch all those drippings. What I'm gonna do is lay it in a smaller one. That way we can still get that heat all the way around that, and it's gonna cook way more even for you, and it's gonna collect those juices. Let's get this in the pellet grill. We're ready to go. I'm gonna take this one out. Oh man, it looks beautiful. Another important part of this process is the resting. So we're gonna go ahead and leave it in the pan, and I'm just gonna cover it with tin foil and let that rest for at least 30 minutes. All right, so why do you want to let this rest? There's 2 reasons why. The first is just gonna let those moisture and temperature just kind of settle out and reassimilate back in. And the other reason is to give yourself some time in the planning process. And let's talk about that planning process. So the planning process can be quite stressful. We all know that. And one of the biggest things to take the stress off for me is actually using the probe on the pellet grill. That way I can watch that temperature come up and I can kind of take my timing as I need to. And if I feel like I need to kick that grill up and speed it up, go ahead and turn it up to 400. If I need to slow it down, go ahead and turn it down to 300. Use that grill to your advantage. Guys, check out the Camp Chef blog. It's got some great tips on the book of turkey. It's gonna give you times, temperatures, really help you try to plan that out. All right, it's time to carve this up. Let's try it. That's absolutely fantastic. Good crispy skin. Let's go ahead and take that right out of the pan. All right, so save all these juices. They're gonna make an amazing gravy. We'll set those aside. And now we're gonna start carving. I know a lot of times we see everybody start carving like this, and let me show you a little different method. First of all, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the legs. Pull that string off. Sometimes it can be pretty tight on there. And we're just gonna pull that leg and thigh off. Just start here on the back side, work your way down and around. Come right down to that bone. So I'm just basically following that bone all the way down until we hit that thigh bone, and we're just gonna twist that off. Now on the breast, I'm just gonna come right down that breast bone, find out where that's at. Just start slowly working your way down. And then we're gonna start coming around the bottom side. Work your way up. You can hear that skin crunching as we go. Now the way I want to cut this is I want to go against the grain, and we're just gonna cut it in slices like this. I'm gonna sneak a little bit of piece here though. Ooh, got some of that skin on there. Guys, tons of moisture inside. Awesome flavor. Super tender, super moist. All right, so we got some wonderful white meat here. We got our just succulent dark meat over here on this side. Remember that white meat needs to be about 165, but the dark meat can go a little bit higher. It's okay if that even creeps up there around that 185-degree mark. It's got more fat and more connective tissue in it, but that breast has got to be right around that 165. So that's how easy turkey can be. It really is super simple. You know, if you're liking these videos, go ahead and subscribe, like, leave us a comment, and I'm out of here.